safe. Yeah, this is true too. Like he was like dragged into this 2 years ago, and he has like, I don't know, he has like a codec. He's like you know, following, and this is like against his, like, it's against his beliefs, and this is good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder to Detective Goodman. I guess it's, wait a second, it's this, because we know what name it is, right? Let's try. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Slap, slap, slap. There was one ID on the list. We couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 77777777777. Sorry, but there is no way you can prove that's my ID card, my card number. It's your number. You can't prove it's your number. It's your number. Period. Nani? Why did you know that? Smile. I would like, let's make it, I don't know, maybe we should use his head as a smile emote, like on Discord or something. Maybe we get it into better Twitch TV or something. It would be so funny, like this face, like As a character, Ahazu is pretty cool. Yeah, he's cool. I like all the characters so far. I even like the bad guys. The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 777777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant. Oh, this is not a smile. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order, Chief Gant. What do you have to say? Uh-oh. Nothing. The defense search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Slap! Chief Gant. So you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police. Whenever it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go wherever I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, so I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Oh, of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days. Chief Gant. Come on. I'm afraid you're just undone yourself. On the day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky guilty. Lana Sky guilt. No, it's not, Your Honor. This trial purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. The note? Maybe this? Can only be submitted to the chief of police. I guess it's this then. I will not save. I will take that. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. You would have to had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filled it. If he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to. Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. Yeah. There is no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. Wait, there's more. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something like that. Like, no. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. This is true, yeah. No, what's going on? What was that image? What? He's exploding. Chief Gant. What? Oh my god. Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a Spur. Why is this German for all of a sudden? Was most likely a spur. Spur? How do you pronounce it in English? I have to look it up. Sorry for interrupting this, but this is like interesting for me because this looks like a German word. It's like Spur. Like poor. I don't know. Spur. Hey, Lazy, nice to see you around. Hope you had a good. Hope you're doing good. Welcome. Yeah, and again, hello. Good to see you around, and thanks again for everybody watching this and enjoying this with me. Again, I'm not a German. I'm a German dude, and I can see that I make mistakes in pronouncing stuff and all that. Again, I really much appreciate you being here, watch me playing this game, enjoying the story with me, and bear my bad spelling, and, you know, watch me learn and grow. I appreciate that. Thanks again for that. Like, I really do. Like, this is like a huge, like, learning thing. And I repeat myself again. I will play Ace Attorney, the second game, like Phoenix Wright, I don't know how the second game is called, but I will play the second game of the trilogy after I finished Chrono Trigger, and I will begin with Chrono Trigger on Friday, so in 2 days. So we will finish up this today, regardless of how long this will take. I will do a break tomorrow because I need a break after, like, I don't know, 9 days of straight streaming. I will do a break tomorrow, and then we start a whole new game, and you know, push the start button on Chrono Trigger. So again, you are very much invited to watch me play this too. And yeah, and then I will return to Phoenix Wright. Thanks again for being here. Again, I appreciate it. And if you are new here and you like it so far, please consider to hit the follow button. It really helps me grow. Thank you. The murder was most likely a spur of the moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. You're doing good? Oh, okay. Yeah, I will finish the third game of the series like at the end of December and of the end of the year basically. But I don't know if I like really play Final Fantasy Tactics. We have to decide if I do Final Fantasy Tactics this month too, because maybe it will take too much time, and I really would like finish this game or this trilogy over like playing random as Final Fantasy Tactics in between. Maybe I will not forget it and we will play Final Fantasy Tactics, but maybe not this month, because you know I want to go through this game. But I will play Chrono Trigger after this. There is no like question in that. After the murder, you contact Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need. To prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Grant used the badger? It was useless before. Is it the blue badger? It's my badge. Let's recollect. Let's think about this. No, it was not the blue badger. This is like no. Maybe, but no. I know he used like the car, but I don't know how I can like point that out. Parking slap? And that points to the car? I'm afraid it is the blue badger. No, this can't be. Lana said that the itch was broken. Oh, the lock on the car. Yeah, but I don't know how to point that out. Like again, he used the car to move it from A to B. This is I know that, but I don't know how to how to point that out. Maybe this. I tried it. Yeah. Okay, because it shows the car. Well, I see. Maybe I use this later to move your dead body, Mr. Wright. Huh? Let's save, because this is getting cryptic. How did he get him to do that? To do it? How did he get him to do it? Maybe this piece of evidence has to do something with the case after all. Oh, you mean a screwdriver? Yeah. It's not the screwdriver. It's he asked that the screwdriver has to be at the prosecutor's office. Yes, this is it. Yes. This is how we moved Detective Goodman's body. Yeah, because he forced Edgeworth to drive his car there. Okay, yeah. And this is how he made him drive this car there. Okay. Yeah. What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with the case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? It's here because... Oh! Another heart attack! I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean I... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Yeah, okay, yes. Clearly. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yeah, of course. Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth... Sorry, I have to drink. To transport evidence from a closed case. There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana's gone. How did you get him to do that? Yeah. Order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal? The defense outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. See, now they're showing this photo. This is so dumb. Like, this photo tells the truth too. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. If Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up. Sorry, Writer, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorneys General after this. We have to get going if we are to make it in the time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons, like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. Remember that it was Officer Meekins that brought the other murder to Edgeworth's attention? Oh, okay. Nani? It is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman? That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show me your proof and get it over with. I say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, I may should save again. Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Prove that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Sky dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? I guess not, huh? I guess not. I haven't proved yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Aji? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Ryder. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Aji, I'll leave the rest to you. Was this right? I saved, right? I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our National Law Enforcement Agency. Oh, Lady Luck, huh? Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's no lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth, another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gann has invoked his right to refuse testimony. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? Yeah, she might not be willing to tell the truth. Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. Defense called forth this lady. Present her, man. Defendant is Lana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21. Her task to dispose of the victim's body in accordance with a certain someone's order. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court will... Hold on! Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. Again, this is like, yo, I'm threatening you now on court. Clearly. And yeah, you know, That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Oh God. Of course, you never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I got a lunch date to meet. Like they are, yeah, even the judge is like, are we doing this right now? Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Are we doing this now? Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. The chief. Whoa. You go away. You shush! You shush in my chat! Stupid bods! The chief. He's something else. Hey pals, Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that pop-knotted girl you used to work with. What do you mean? Oh yeah. Strike him down! Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gan done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair. He has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. Consequences. Risks. Oh, risks. What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Hey, Emma! Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery, so she heard everything that's been going on. Oh, Emma, sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. I know, you know, it's funny. I almost felt somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. Why not, Maya? To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by the terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gan's orders, she must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't be blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gan may be able to fool everyone else with this forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Finally! Heck, let's try this. Way too long. Way too long. Blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, save your progress. Even better. Yeah, and I will sit here. And so this was not the last chapter, by the way. This is hopefully the last chapter now. But I guess not. What do you have to say to this? Is this the last chapter? No. This one should be now the last. Let's go. Let's go together, Edgy. And they both like holding the fingertips, like they boop like their fingertips and like skipping through court, like with a pointy voice. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana's guy, please take the stand? She's like, yo, what up? Miss Lana's guy, you are the chief prosecutor. Pointy boys, unite! I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Mrs. Sky. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. And they pointed their fingers at each other and they lived happily ever after. Like, even in their sleep, they are like, oh. Pointy boys unite. Successfully added quote. No! We will never get rid of it. Like, this is the curse of the unicorn. Oh no. Now then, your testimony. If you will. First, tell us about your relationship. I only see death, yeah. Tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on the testimony. It's the only chance. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. Gant and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth of this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. So Gant does your testimony? My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony, Your Honor? I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana, if this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Oh yeah, right. It has to be Lana too, you're right. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Ah! Like this? Huh. Like this. Yes, like this. Yeah, there's no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Like in the good Dragon Ball, like, episodes, right? Go. And that's safe. So, I guess we only have to press things that we really want to know about her. There is no truth to this blackmail theory. Let's go. But think about it, Mrs. Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a niffy. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day. All because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. I know. But that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. How did you do that? You say you did this all by yourself. Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. A broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? What? Yeah, what? We discovered this, but Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. It was me, Dio. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean, Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Drake? Dark. Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. all just to protect me. So, when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the body, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. Why did you plant the knife? Why did you move the body? Yeah, why did you move the body? Why did you plant the... I want to know both. But why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright, even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to the witness testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife. I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. Let's go here again. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deducted it was, by Chief Gann's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the evidence threatened my plan. Threatened your plan? You planted the tip of the knife. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I wanted to return to something else. Oh my god, this is like when I give like another like, okay, this is better. Pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wreckage jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more sorry, expendient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have the feeling there is more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabricated completely alone. Press into this. No, I save. Because I have more options now and press more. Yeah, this is the contradiction here, so... Again, I will take the jar now. Yeah. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery of the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life, smack the table, will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony. We testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. So you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. This is true. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard of this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we are headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. The train to the truth is arriving at station 3 at you know, at like how do you say, like, no, not station, like the life. We had this in freaking Harry Potter. I don't know, and I don't know anymore. Damn it. The truth train, yes. Oh yeah, track. Yeah, track. It's track, right? Platform? Yeah, platform it is what I searching for. Platform 3. Next stop, Confession City, yes. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. Jar and message in blood. Good. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dog was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I have to, like, is my voice okay? So can you, like, maybe check it? Because I'm shouting all the time. I may be able to just talk normally. So let's try that, because my voice is getting, like, hard after 6 hours of, like, this. Okay, let's save again. Sorry, I have to do this again. Like, we're saving. It was too dark in the room. Yeah, this is true. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and grounded them to dust. Okay. So the game is like too loud, like a notch, maybe like this. Try it like this. Yeah, it's a very loud game. Well, that helps my case. Lana, Lana would do that for me. It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. It must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Drake killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragments were large. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. The detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now I always carrying a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol whenever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. This is not true. Let's see. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene. Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana, I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt, this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. I'm sure I got them all. Let's save. Be sure here. Don't like, you know. And I guess it's like the jar itself, because she didn't found Emma every piece. Yeah. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you are unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There is something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Ooh. Oh yeah, I never considered that. Interesting. I never thought about that. Chief Gant got there before you. Yo, he could blackmail her, like from the beginning. Ooh, yes, this is true. Yeah, I guess it's true because he has power over her, right? But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid it's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss. Yet, let alone an ace detective. What may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe it? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, this jar was already broken. Oh, that... There's no way a name could have been written on the shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implementing this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Drake. Downstairs. Besides, I didn't read that. The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Aji, come on. Boop doop bap, boop doop bap, boop doop bap, boop doop bap, boop doop bap. No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Wait. Demon Gantendorf arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hit one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Sky believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she fought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence to incriminate Dark, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. That was a pathetic breakdown animation. The reason why Miss Sky became the chief's puppet. Oh my god, she almost ripped off her own thumb. Oh my god. No! I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most fool lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Hey! Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I do! What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana, maybe right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? No. Miss Sky, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Oh my god. Finally. Alright. The witness may testify once more for the final time. Is my voice okay, like when I not shout all the time? Is my voice bearable, guys? I have no idea. I never use my normal voice because I think it's not powerful enough, so I hope this is bearable. Actual crime scene. Let's go. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword. You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What, to me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright, please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any picture from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check the evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. There we go. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh yeah, he's like super impaled. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective thought a crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Lana's picture inserted into the court record. Mr. Wright, that piece cut out from this vest. Could there be... Oh, the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? It comes all together. The cloth, it has fingerprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? Those fingerprints? They're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. As long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin this cross-examination. Oh my god, this trial is so long, dude. It's so long. The actual crime scene. I can't, like, believe that I didn't make it. What? Oh, he's back. Good. Even better. Come now, Aji. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant. What? Now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you've forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Ooh. Gandorf. Ah! Yeah, you can't do that. Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Yes. After this outraging, like, thing you just had? Yes. I guess you are afraid. Or worried. Sorry to disappoint you. But I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone. So, what's your excuse, Wright? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright?